He's been a dear friend of VStheUNIVERSE, a great friend of the Chicago Nerd Comedy Festival. If you didn't know him, now you will. I present to you the eccentric gentleman, Cody Melcher.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you. There we go. Well, the only intro I requested it. All right. Hi, how are you doing? Guys, I am incredibly excited to be performing for an audience that almost began a riot over Howard the Duck. You have no idea. I'm sitting backstage like, just punch each other, do it! I want to see this explode somehow. Let's throw Millhouse into the mix, see what happens. Drill House, get it in there, let's do it. Oh man, I am excited to be here. I'm also excited to be here because I'm no longer back home. I just had to go back home. And for those of you who don't know me, there are a couple of you. I'm from Texas originally. Yeah, sure, okay. All right. In case you can't tell from the sports coat or the last presidential election, not a great place for me to be, Tejas. It's not all cattle drives and hopscotch. I don't know what they say to each other down there. No one talked to me when I lived there. It's fine. It's not just Texas. It's also, when I go down to Texas, I usually stay with my family. And they're fine people from what they tell me, but they're just a little hard to get along with. A case in point, a couple of Christmases ago, my father, the former professional wrestler, received a taser gun for Christmas. And then proceeded to just start tasing members of the family? Leading me to say something I never thought I'd have to say on Christmas Eve, which is, I'm going to my room, call me when you're all done tasing each other. So holly jolly Christmas indeed. The other problem is also that when I go down to Texas, it's a little too far for me to drive, which is my preferred method of travel, because if I'm going to die, I want to do it on my terms. The problem with flying is that I usually have to fly as cheaply as possible because I spend all of my money on cufflinks. I'm sure we've all been there. And so the problem is this last time when I flew down there, I flew Spirit Airlines. Are you guys familiar with Spirit Airlines? There you go. The people wooing, I feel like you just get blackout wasted during Spirit Airlines. I don't really remember Spirit Airlines at all. But for those of you who don't know Spirit Airlines because no one tried to sacrifice a baby to an elder god, I'll help you out. In an SAT-like format. They say that Spirit Airlines, or sorry, they say that Southwest Airlines is like the Greyhound bus of the sky. That's a thing people say to each other on television. Spirit is more like the hobo boxcar of the sky. Or actually, really, better yet, it's like the radio flyer wagon full of possums of the sky. Like, shit gets real fast up there. And so on my flight down to Texas, I happened to be flying on a plane that was filled with babies. It was a baby-full plane. A plane laden full of baby, if you will. And the worst thing about flying on a plane inundated with babies. I mean, other than having to step on them to get in the overhead compartment, which really, the sound just never leaves you. But other than that, the worst thing, the thing that kept going over and over in my head the entire flight, was that if this plane crashes, I'm gonna be the least important death on this flight. Right? Like I could just see it in the headlines the next day. Plane full of babies crashes. Also maybe a stand-up comedian. No one knows. No one checked for a body. Scroll down, it's a picture of me not having fun at a party. And a quote from my mother that says, I didn't even know you were still alive. And that's it. That's the end of me. And I know what you're thinking to yourselves. You're thinking to yourselves, Corey, because you've already forgotten my name. Sometimes they laugh a little too hard at that one. You're thinking to yourselves, Corey, you seem really sad for a guy. Wearing a chainmail necktie and a German pocket square, and I get it. But I got a lot of shit going on in my life, guys. I recently had to have mouth surgery. I call it mouth surgery because as a homosexual, if I say oral surgery, people just giggle at me. So mouth surgery it is. In case anybody's curious as to what happened, my gums had become recessed because they too had given up. And I had to have them pulled down As if I didn't have enough problems already, now I have to worry about my mouth being haunted. This is a real concern. The other night I woke up in the middle of the night, all of my teeth have been moved around inside of my mouth. I don't know if Blue Cross Blue Shield covers Ghostbuster dentists. I have not checked the Obamacare website. I don't know. I don't know. In case anyone was curious about why I was down in Texas, because Lord knows I always am, I was down there for a wedding. I've gotten pretty good at weddings. I've gone to a lot of them because I'm at that age right now where all of my friends are getting married or giving up on love entirely. You know, possibly playing Dragon Age until they die.
I'm happy with my choice.
I'm glad someone is. That's good. But it's good. I've gone through a lot of them. My first one was pretty rough. Actually, ladies in the audience, maybe you could help me out. And I apologize. I hate saying ladies on stage, so I sound like Jerry Lewis. But why would he be talking about women? You know? There you go. That's right. Biting social commentary on Jerry Lewis. That's how my career is going. Yeah. Take it. He's been riding on that horse for too long. All right. Ladies in the audience, maybe you all could help me out. Round of applause if you were raised being told you should never outdress a bride on her wedding day. Yeah. A fair number. I apologize to the rest of you who didn't applaud for your poor finishing schools. I guess that's the state of education in this country today. There we are. The problem with that is they don't really tell that whole not outdressing the bride thing. They don't really tell that to dudes. That's not a memo I ever received as a child. So the problem was my first ever wedding, I had no idea. So it was an outdoor wedding in July in Texas. So I did what any of us would do. I wore a three-piece white linen suit with purple wingtips, a matching tie, and a bedazzled fan, because I'm not a monster. Not a monster. Problem is, they sat me on the aisle, so my friend, the bride, as she's walking up to her future, stops, turns to me, and says, "You ruined my wedding!" And then continues on. So my question is this. Are you all familiar with prima nocta, the divine right of a king or a vassal to have sex with a bride on her wedding night? It's in Braveheart for the rest of you, I don't know. My argument is this. I believe that if a gay man shows up to your wedding better dressed than the bride, he deserves retroactive prima nocta rights on the husband. It just seems fair. It just seems right. You've got to work hard to keep your man, or at least I read that in a Steve Harvey book once. I don't know. It seems right. So, the astute of you in the audience may have noticed that dating does not go great for me. Part of it is because that is my real life. I know, it sounds like if Krusty the Clown and Snagglepuss had a baby that ran away to the circus, but there you are. I've been cursed by the silliest of demons, and for that I apologize. However, I am wearing a chainmail tie, so if there are any squires in the audience that need to help me out later, let me know. No? All right. I thought it would be worth a shot. This is my crowd. I thought I could take it. Part of my problem is that I'm what I like to call a Truman Capote homosexual. And I don't know about you guys, but I find it very difficult to initiate a conversation about how Moby Dick is the great American Bible when you have to scream it over Hannah Montana at a club. It's just a hard starter. They usually only hear one of those words in the title. It's the dick one. Not a big Moby crowd these days, the homosexuals. Not since Studio 54. It's been a while. It's fine. The other problem I'm having, it's not always bad. It really isn't. It's not always bad. In fact, over this summer, I had a one-night stand with a gay Mormon Australian at a Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. Please, hold your applause. It was a beautiful moment. Our eyes met from across the ballroom as I was singing Enter Sandman at karaoke hosted by Mrs. Hulu George Takei. And let me tell you this, Geek Show. It is impossible to have a walk of shame when you are wearing a captain's dress uniform. That is a walk of pride? That's a walk of pride! You swagger like you just fucked a blue alien, which, I mean, statistically Generally speaking, a gay Mormon Australian and a blue alien are roughly the same. It's just numbers. It's just statistics. I'm playing the odds. It's Vegas. As I said, I grew up gay in Texas. You can call me a hero after the show. It's hard growing up gay in Texas, but not for the reasons you might be thinking, although to be fair, that too. A lot of running and lassos, and not in the fun way, you know? I think it'd be more fun. It's not. It's because I was raised with that kind of weird chivalry code that still kind of seems to persist in the South. That's why I dress like the Riddler's boxing promoter. It's also why I carry this fan around with me wherever I go, you know? It gets hot out there, guys, and I don't want to faint from the vapors if there's not a mint julep readily available, you know what I'm saying? She knows what I'm talking about anyhow. The problem is, like, guys, we're a postmodern enough crowd, I feel it. We're all aware that chivalry as a societal abstraction is really just kind of an over-masculine, overplay kind of way to subvert women's roles and power in society, you know? Like, oh, this voting lever is so heavy, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is it's really hard to apply that kind of over-masculine play when you're dating another dude bro, or broham. You know, like, yo bro, put it on my abs, bro. I don't know how foreplay works. I don't know. I don't know. But it's hard to apply it in a dating situation. Like, case in point, when we go out, do I get his car door? Does he get mine? Do we just kind of Chinese fire grill? When we're at dinner and he comes back to the table from the bathroom, do I stand? Does he remain standing for the rest of the meal? Do we have our waiter sit at a separate table and serve us with it? When we come to a puddle, do I throw down my jacket? Well, not this is new. Do I borrow a jacket from a stranger and throw it on the ground? Do we throw it on his jacket? Is it largest jacket? Do we Rochambeau? Do we split the difference and both of us wear floor-length skirts out to town on Sunday to remain chaste in the eyes of our Lord? And finally, and most importantly, when we kiss each other to show our love, do I punch him in the face and call him a faggot? Does he punch me? Or just have a fist bump? Faggots! I never know! If anybody knows, let me know. My name is Cody Melcher. Thank you.